Good morning, loves. It is time for our 6-second devotion. Today we are in Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 4, and chapter 5, verse 6. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But then he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." And chapter 5, verse 6 reads, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled." So, as you know, I grew up Baptist, started as Southern Baptist, and then we trickled into Independent Fundamental Baptist, which is way worse. And so when I was growing up, scripture was often handed to me already interpreted. Here's your verse. Here's what it means. Here's what you should believe. Thank you very much. There wasn't a lot of room for questions. All right, there was zero room for questions. There wasn't any invitation to wonder about context or culture or surrounding passages or who was speaking or who was listening and why. And then in my early 20s, after coming out and being told there wasn't room for me in the church if I was going to live that way, I had a choice. I could walk away, or I could go find out for myself. And so for about 5 years, I reread scripture with fresh eyes. And what shocked me wasn't that scripture changed. It was that I discovered so many things I had been told scripture said weren't actually what scripture was saying, like at all. Jesus says we do not live by bread alone. And I wonder sometimes if we're mistaking being fed information for being nourished. Because nourishment takes time. You chew, you savor, you question, you wrestle, you return. Scripture became very different for me when I stopped reading it to prove something and I started reading it to encounter something. And now I read it way less like a rule book and more like a companion. It's not only my guide in life, but it's one of the deepest wells that I return to. And somehow there is always something there. There's comfort and wisdom and perspective and challenge and hope. And so maybe hungering and thirsting for righteousness isn't about having all the right answers. Maybe it's about staying curious enough to keep coming back to the table. So your breath moment today is to inhale, feed my spirit, and exhale, teach me to wonder. Tag someone who helped you learn to ask better questions. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow for our 6-second devotion.